If you didn't know, the Amazing Digital Circus is an indie animation that took the internet by complete storm after being posted a few months back. A series about these wacky yet interesting characters apparently being taken into, as the title suggests, a digital circus, or just a digital world with seemingly no way to escape. Except for the fact that maybe there is? The pilot episode alone already brought us many questions and theories, like why did Kaufmo really abstract and why is he so scared of Kane? Why does Jax supposedly have the keys to everyone's rooms? What's inside of the void? And then probably the biggest one of them all being what is the deal with the computer. And so as episode 2 is finally out, I'll be analyzing and breaking it down to see if we can have our questions finally answered or just end up with some new ones instead. The episode kicks off with Pomni having a nightmare about falling into the basement, which we saw was where the other previous members of the circus were sent by Kane after being abstracted in the last episode, showing that Pomni now had a fear of being abstracted or ending up like Kaufmo after said events. This is probably nothing, but I thought it was worth mentioning that when Pomni wakes back up, we get to see inside of her room, and in the background there's these dice that count up to the numbers 1251. Like I said, this is probably nothing, but it did catch my attention. I also noticed that there was something moving in the background, but this could just be Pomni's reflection in the mirror. But anyway, when Ragatha goes to get Pomni from her room, she mentions that everything that went down in the last episode actually happened yesterday. So despite this episode being 6 months after the pilot, only one day has passed in their world. Kane then revealed to the members of the circus that today's mission was to go to the Candy Canyon Kingdom to get back some syrup that had apparently been stolen by bandits. But I want to mention that he gives this mission a title as if it's a level to a video game, just like episode's 1 mission was to gather the coin. So I wonder if every episode will be like a new level to the game. But this then creates the question of what happens at the end of the game, or is there even an end? Is it something that's able to be beaten, or could escaping and finding the real exit possibly be the only way to win? But to convince the circus members to go on said mission, Kane says that he's creating a new AI, which made me think that this AI is going to be different from the others and be something important during this episode. But it's pretty ironic of Kane to say, as we obviously know he's an AI as well. But anyways, we then enter the Candy Canyon Kingdom, which I gotta say gave me heavy Adventure Time vibes. But we see that this place is filled to the brim with mannequins, all of them walking, moving, and even speaking. We saw these mannequins on the doors in the last episode and in the diner area that Kane was in. I'm curious if the mannequins are just here to fill space or just generally have more happening in the room, or if they're possibly stand-ins for what Kane will eventually turn into NPCs. When the princess of the kingdom comes out, she refers to the circus members as knights sent by God while referring to Kane. And at the end of the last episode, we saw everyone sit at a table for a feast, clearly making a reference to the Last Supper, showing Pomni in the center as if they were comparing her to Jesus, even with the colors and everything. So biblical references in the show are definitely made, but calling Kane a god was pretty interesting, as we know that the company that supposedly created this game is called CNA, with the C probably standing for Kane and A possibly being, my guess, whatever Pomni's real name is, which could be Abel, as that would be another biblical reference to the story called Cain and Abel. But we then focus on the supposed bandits that are taking syrup from the kingdom, and we find out that they're apparently only doing this as it could be used to save hundreds of people, showing that they aren't really the bad guys and that honestly the princess is the real villain. I mean, she's literally been keeping the syrup to herself this entire time. Continuing the mission though, as we now chase the bandits, Jax pulls out a fucking gun, and then furthermore throws Pomni out of a moving vehicle. The creator of the show actually said that Jax is morally the worst person out of all of the characters in the series. So I guess this is them trying to show how true that is. We then see Pomni's arms stretch really far to be a bridge for him to walk across to the other truck, but this is just some straight up cartoon physics, showing that really anything is possible here and that this world is not real even more. Jax then tells Gangle to ram into the bandits and says to do it or else he'll tell Ragatha about the figurine thing, which if you know, you know, but this shows that Jax will use things and information he has against people in order to get his way. Just like we saw in the first episode, as he used Ragatha's fear of centipedes to scare her by putting them in her room. This show is really trying to make it clear just how messed up Jax is. Anyway, as the truck ends up being sent flying into the side of the mountain, it literally starts straight up no clipping until it phases through, which is quite literally a glitch in a video game that people either accidentally do or use for speedruns. But we actually get to see the area they end up in, which has literal avatars of the characters, showing that they're just skins created by Kane. And Gummigoo then asked Pomni where they were, and she responded by saying they were under the map. And when he asked why Pomni and the others weren't one of the avatars, Pomni directly says because they're not NPCs, making him then realize that he was an NPC and they weren't. They're real and he isn't. But honestly, I felt that because of this, he would now be real in a way. I mean, he knows what he is. He acknowledges his true existence and knows way more than the other NPCs. But going back to the others, who are now in a fudge lake talking to a fudge monster who says that he's apparently eaten people and that it's not really murder if they're delicious. But Jax actually agrees with him. The creator of the show actually said that Jax deserves to be here more than any other character as well. So this made me wonder if Jax possibly killed someone in the human world before, and if that's possibly the reason why he was put in the digital circus in the first place. Jax then also says that he's gonna free the fudge monster by using the key into the kingdom walls, showing that he wants destruction to happen or wants people to die. So I think I might be onto something. But continuing the conversation from earlier, Pomni then says that she relates to how Gummy Goo is feeling, as she was brought into this digital world knowing this place wasn't real. And Pomni even says that feeling like you're nothing is something pretty normal in the world that she's from. But this shows that she still has a memory of some things beyond just the fact that she put on a headset before coming here. Pomni then offers to bring Gummy Goo into the circus as she wants a friend, someone she is a lot more similar to than the others who are all very different. In an attempt to re-enter the map, they start the truck and begin to fly up, and we then see a whole bunch of teapots floating around, which seem to have doors on them, as you can see a white light on this one. But in the first episode during the intro, we saw all of these objects float around, and a teapot was actually one of them. So these objects might be important in some aspect after all. We then see Jax, who is I guess depressed, which I only say because the creator said this episode would be about depression and Jax, but he's more so just upset that there wasn't blood in this adventure. But before they leave back to the circus, we hear a rumbling in the distance, and Jax says that he let the fudge monster out. And instantly Jax's mood changes as a smile is put on his face, knowing that he probably just made people get killed. Once again making me question if Jax possibly killed someone in his real life, as he seems pretty okay with it, although it could just be because he knows that they are NPCs in a video game. But with the mission completed, we head back to the circus with what I thought was gonna be a new member and character that would be with us for later episodes. But when Kane sees Gummy Goo, he instantly kills him just due to the fact that he was an NPC. And then Kane says if he loses track of who's real and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen, seeming genuinely scared of whatever that may be. Possibly for the fact that he genuinely doesn't know, or maybe because he does and it's something really bad. And despite this leaving Pomni clearly traumatized, we now instantly have a funeral for Kaufmo. And afterward, this caused Pomni to remember the dream that she was having about falling into the basement. But this time we see what looks like Kaufmo grab her and pull her up, showing one, he's either still alive, or just to show that his memory will live on and be what pushes Pomni to keep smiling and not give up on finding the exit, or to let it drive her insane like it did to him. The questions from the first episode weren't really answered in this one, sadly, but we did in a way get some new theories from it. That is, if there's not anything I missed or any actual crazy secrets hidden, which I didn't spot. But this episode did definitely shine the light that this world truly is a game, and did give a lot of character development for Jax and Pomni, as we got to see the kind of people both of them are, which seem to be almost polar opposites from each other. But that's going to be the end of the video. This was my first time doing a proper breakdown like this, so let me know down in the comments if this is something y'all would like to see more of in the future. And if you did enjoy it, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. But until next time, peace out.